All right, we are starting again. 2020, a brand new year, and I'm really, really excited for this one. Put a lot of thought into which book we wanted to work through next together. And because I love to focus on mindset anyways, and we had done a few books last year on mindset and the real importance of that, this book was recommended. Right, so we're going to start Millionaire by Halftime. If you don't have the book, that's okay. However, reading the book and having it in your hands will just give you a whole another level of being able to absorb the information, because when you read it with your eyes, you hear it with your ears, right? You're just soaking it in so many different ways. I'm someone who likes to underline in my books. I've shared that before. But again, if you don't have it, listening in is going to be incredibly valuable still. So those of you that have the book, show me your book. Are there a bunch of you? Awesome. Awesome. Okay, hang on. That's good. Hold it up. I'm going to take a picture. That's really, really good. Okay. Ready? All right. Okay, perfect. That's awesome, Julie. Julie's got it there on audio. Okay, so we are not going to delay, because Saturday morning does not mean the end of the week where we just like hit the couch and coast. Saturday morning is an equally important day, right? You get to wake up, choose your mindset, kind of evaluate the week you just had, start already thinking about the next week. And in this book, like I said, his main focus is mindset surrounding network marketing, because you can probably all think of somebody who has wanted to start a home business, who has tried a home business. There's many different companies, right? There's many different thought processes around what is network marketing anyways, right? Why do some people do amazing? Why do some have more trouble? And he's going to talk about that right here in the book. So let's hop into it right away. We're going to start on, I don't know if we have different versions, but I'm starting on page 12, actually. Before we even get going, it's in the foreword. And I underlined a line that's going to make all the difference for you as you go through this book, and as you kind of choose what you do and don't want to implement from it. And in the second paragraph, he writes, "The attitude is yours." You can constantly choose if you are going to control your thoughts and your attitudes, or if you will allow circumstances, something, or someone else to control it. Right? The power lies with you. You get to choose it. Does life sometimes, poop on us? 100%. Sometimes we wake up and there's a rainbow, but at the end of the day, nobody can control it except for you. And I just had this conversation with my teenage girls, because I love hearing well, she made me so mad. You know what? Actually, you can only choose if you're mad, right? You can only choose if you don't want to be consistent. You can only choose if you want to focus on that you're not getting ahead, rather on what are the few things I can do to keep propelling forward, right? Only we can choose that. Nobody can tell you that you can't do something. So I just thought, what a great intro to a book. It had me captivated. And then moving forward to the introduction, page 13, he said he's telling the story of himself, and I highly recommend you reading it. I don't always read the introductions of books, I'm not going to lie, but I felt compelled to read this one, and I'm really glad I did. It shared a bit why he wrote this book, and he said, "I had a desire for more than just getting by. This desire grew from an idea into a burning desire to succeed." Raise your hand if you have a desire to do more than just getting by. Yes, you all do, because you're here, right? That desire in you would not be there if you didn't have a purpose to fulfill. Let's be honest. People that aren't meant to do this don't wake up or don't get inspired by a friend doing it, because it's not their purpose or calling. The fact that you even have a little bit, or maybe you have a lot of, I'm going to do this, I'm not going to give up, I'm going to learn how to do it well, I'm going to work on my mindset, I'm going to come to Connect Zooms, I'm going to do all the things. That tells you that this is where you are meant to be. You're meant to be here. It's in you for a reason, and you can succeed at it. So he says, when a student is ready, a teacher will appear. So we need the desire. We have to want to. Nobody can make you. And when you are ready, and you often hear about being coachable, right? And you're like, you know what, now's the time. Now I'm going to do this. The teacher always appears, right? And it's amazing how you can hear the exact same thing. And one day you hear it and it just kind of like, you know, goes through because you're just really not in the right place and you're not ready. And then the next time you hear it and all of a sudden it just absolutely captivates you and fires up your heart. And you're like, I'm doing this. I'm ready for this, right? I'm not procrastinating anymore. Maxine, she was reading a really great book on procrastination. And you just come to a place where you're like, it's time, right? It's go time. Okay, so he says, when that person is ready, the opportunity will appear, right? So that's that whole mindset attitude shift. And he says what he did is he wanted to create a residual income so that he had options. Right? Isn't that actually, when we hear about time freedom, we hear about freedom in general, especially with network marketing, okay, there is sometimes a misconception that it means that I won't have to actually work. No, 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 no. You still have to work. However, you have the freedom to choose when, how much, how far you go or don't go, right? You're not just punching a clock and padding somebody else's paycheck. Right? You're not just trading time for money. You're making residual income. So he says he wanted his time to become his own, which is why we're here too. And it is not too late to become a millionaire by halftime. Doesn't matter how old you are. Doesn't matter when you start. My favorite is the first convention I was at. And there was a little lady who had to be at least 80 years old, you guys, at least. She was the cutest little button. And she was wearing a lanyard, and I'm like, oh, she must be someone's mom here at convention. Oh, no, she wasn't. Do you know what it said on her badge? Someone want to guess? Sapphire. That sweet granny is a sapphire, and she is 100% 80 or more. All right? Yes. Come on. Age is only a number. Okay, let's get going. Okay, chapter 1. Like the other book we read, I would love to see this one starts with quotes as well, because I just absolutely love that. So top of chapter 1, we're going to talk about the network marketing industry. Okay, sometimes every company gets lumped into one. We're going to talk about network marketing in general. I want you to know that what we have in Plexus is so incredibly special, and maybe Julie can share a little bit something she heard this week that it just absolutely astounds you. And Julie, I'm talking about the girl who did incredibly well and then had her top runner taken out from under her. Could you imagine? Could you imagine working for a company that has an amazing comp plan, working super hard and then growing in a beautiful leg, and then the company is like, well, you've done so good, we're going to take that leg and we're going to make her her own. And what happens to you? All right, thank you, Plexus. They're not all the same, but that could be for another conversation. But he says, network marketing gives people the opportunity with very low risk and very low financial commitment to build their own income-generating asset and acquire great wealth. Income generating is a key word here, right? Residual income. So when you're putting in the work and you're loving on others and you're helping them meet their goals, right? Your income keeps coming. That's a big deal. So it's not like you go to work once and you work your 8-hour day, you get paid once, right? With network marketing, you keep getting paid while you keep growing your business. So I love that. So he says, everything has changed. Okay, we're talking about business models in general, the way that companies are structuring, the way they're downsizing, the way they're trying to streamline. It's very different than even like 10 years ago. It's extremely different than 20 and 30 years ago, which is why the generations prior to us do not understand it. So sometimes we're like head knocking, like, why aren't you supporting me? And all they're thinking is this has got to be a scam because it's so outrageously different than what they know to be a business structure. And our kids are probably going to have something totally wildly different than what we have. And we're going to have to remember, wait a second, right? There might be something to this because we were in that boat. So he says this change has fostered a much stronger interest in home-based businesses. People want to control their own future. So we're no longer just waking up anymore and doing that 9 to 5, right? What's that old TV show? The Cleaver Family? What's that really old TV show? Okay, you know, where like dad goes to work, mom vacuums, wearing her pearls. Like, it's just not like that anymore. People want to have some control over their lifetime, over the things that they enjoy. He says nobody enjoys living in mediocrity, and massive potential is the result of network marketing. This is the power of leverage and residual income. Okay, so here's a quote by, I'm on page 20. J. Paul Getty puts it like this. He says, I'd rather have 1% of the efforts of 100 people than 100% of my own effort. Right? So when I was talking to my coach the other day, when he said they're looking at numbers of the formation of the diamond teams out there, it's not 1 or 2 runners that got them to diamond. And actually at Corp, they've been floored at the numbers and looking at the makeup of what is actually making up this team. What should our focus be? This one Pacific Diamond team, he showed me hundreds and hundreds of ambassadors that each had one ordering ambassador. Okay, that's the power of duplication and residual income. So, are we going to have runners? Yes. Do you want to still look for runners? Yes, you can't do it alone. But is there incredible value in your happy wholesalers? Don't be frustrated with them. They're your foundation. And if you can encourage them to get 1 or 2 people, right? Working to the, obviously me +3, them +3, but even 1 or 2, you're already going places. Okay, so think small because that'll get you big. So he says, with residual income, it keeps coming in long after the work is finished. Network marketing and networking allows ordinary people the chance to build a team that could keep producing income for them and their families long into the future, which is legacy company. That's what Alec and Tarl always talk about, producing for you so that your efforts today are going to be able to impact and dream fund for your kids, because it's not going to go away, right? We're not going anywhere. So let's look at the acronym for a job. Okay, J-O-B. I love this. He wrote just over broke. Okay, just over broke. You have enough to pay your bills. You have enough to go out and do some stuff. Save for a vacation that you might take, right? And hope that you have something left for retirement. Unless you're a business owner, which is the select few. It's only 3% of all population are business owners, okay? So that job acronym is actually most people. So he says we can only trade so much time for so much money. We only have 24 hours in a day, right? That's that glass ceiling of a job. Can you work your way up in an industry? Absolutely, but you're still gonna cap out. You're still gonna cap out, okay? Because like Nicole, you know well, right? Nicole Cunningham, right? That is an incredibly hardworking woman. And she knows she can't put any more hours into a day. She doesn't have more hours, right? And it's exhausting. That's not life, right? We do it, but that's not long-term satisfaction. So he says, instead of spending millions of dollars on advertising to promote products and services, what companies are doing is they are setting up and moving into direct sales and network marketing, because they can save all of that to be able to thank you for sharing, because we know that when someone shares a testimony, that's so much more powerful, right, than any advertising you would ever see. Who here has bought on impulse because a friend said, hey, I tried that, I loved it. I just did that this week. I pushed buy and I'm like, what the heck am I doing? I didn't even look into this thing, but it's coming in the mail, right? So there's that, and companies know that because we build a trust with our friends. So he says, today networking is recognized as one of the fastest growing business models in the world. The success of networking has been written about in every single business publication available. I'm getting tickly throat here because I'm getting on fire. Networking teaches people to be entrepreneurs, not an employee. That's really important to write down, right? We're going to learn how to be an entrepreneur, not an employee. Is it a different mindset? Absolutely. We're used to being employees. And he says anyone with a reasonable amount of intelligence, I giggled, can excel at networking. Remember, he said reasonable amount, okay? He didn't say how much we had to have or what color our hair had to be. He said reasonable. I'm totally poking fun at myself. Success in networking doesn't require specialized skills or sales training. It's more about heart and how bad you want to change your life. That's another good one to write down, right? Success in this is about heart and about how bad you want to change your life. It's more about action than ability, and it's about honesty, integrity, and hard work. You're going to see people come in and out of this business for as long as you're in it, and you're going to see that honesty, integrity, and hard work are really the recipe for the ones that do well. It really, truly is. So he says working for someone else or toiling in someone else's field makes their true dreams come true, not yours. That was an aha moment, right? When someone's frantically calling you because they're trying to fill a shift or there's a deadline and things aren't getting done, right? Are they really taking your best interests into account, or are they taking theirs and their pocketbook, right? Because if you don't get the stuff done for them, they ain't going to look very good, are they? Okay, so they're not worried about, have they had enough self-care? Are they doing okay? Are they feeling okay? At the end of the day, in corporate America, it doesn't work that way. It's why people are burnt out. 98% of the wealthy become wealthy by owning their own business. You guys are on the right track. If you are willing to focus and work hard for 2 to 5 years, you have a chance to make a 6-figure monthly income and achieve financial and time freedom. Okay, let go of the timeline. This is just a book. Okay, don't get yourself caught up in a timeline. Get yourself caught up in just daily consistency. Okay, don't look so far ahead that you lose sight of what can I do today. My coach told me today, Heidi, what can you do today? I don't care about tomorrow. What can you do today to get you that one step forward? Have your long-term goals, but don't get so focused on them, right, that you kind of freeze in your tracks. So what we're doing, okay, if you're trading time for money, this is called linear income. Okay, this is not the type of system. Trading time for money will not result in financial or time freedom, not ever. As long as you got to put a clock in for a wage, you're not going to get to where you want to be. It's not about what you do, he says, but it's about what you start. With linear income, you work once and get paid once. If you stop working, you stop getting paid. With leverage, though, and residual, you get paid over and over again for working once. So Maxine was just taking a beautiful warm vacation, came back with a gorgeous tan, and she was still making money while she was doing that. That's freedom, friends. And she was on her phone and she was spreading the word down there in Mexico, right? That's freedom while she was with her family, right? So on the next page, Mr. Paul Pilzer sees network marketing as the base for America's next big boom. He predicts millions of new millionaires will be created in the next few years through networking. And I would have to fully agree with that, because it was only about a year or two ago that I heard a really big top dog in business down in the US say exactly that in the next 10 years, almost all industry is going to move to network marketing. And we're going to see that shift. And you see it already. You see cutbacks, you see layoffs. Companies are streamlining. They're getting rid of advertising that they're finally realizing doesn't really work. It's just costing them a lot of money. So you're going to see this a lot more in a lot of industries that maybe have never done network marketing before. So I do totally believe that. People are going to working remotely versus going into an office. So when you hear Alec and Tarl and the Diamonds telling you, don't leave, this is legacy, we are only starting, we are only starting. We really are. Success will not happen overnight, but if you stick with it, you will find what you seek. Right? Knock and the door will be opened. One of my favorite verses. It's the same. It totally relates to this too. Right? Seek and you will find. Any thoughts on chapter 1? Just a couple like quick 30-second, 1-minute feedbacks. Any of the quotes stand out? Everybody's good? Okay.
You gave an example of more and more companies moving towards network marketing. My son's an example of that because he's working remotely from home. He doesn't go into an office. So that's why he was able to move to BC. It's the benefits of technology, right?
100%. So he's living in a place he's always wanted to be, but hasn't been able to before because he was stuck to a job, right? Yeah, that's a great example. Anybody else?
What really stood out to me is where he says, never be a minion, always be an owner. So I mean, that's big.
Yeah, that is. I instantly get that vision of all the little minions following Gru in the movie. I don't want to be one of them. I want to be the one they're following. Yeah. Yeah, super true. Anyone else? It's a real mindset and attitude shift, isn't it? It sometimes takes a little like quiet time to be like, okay, right? Just understanding the why are we here? Because we all came in because we were excited because one of our friends was doing it and we were getting healthy. And now we're to the place where we're like, okay, right, I got something here. Right? So let's move into chapter 2. All right? He calls this personal growth. We've all heard that before. He says formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. I don't know if there's anything you can do more for yourself than self-development. I know that word can kind of sound like a job. Most people are like, oh, I don't want to do the work of it. You know what? Think of it like this. Start with a book that you just really have been wanting to read. If you can read books, so last year I can't remember how many I said I read through, but I just read and I read and I read and I read. I read a couple fictions in between just to keep myself like, my mind a break, but not a break, and usually was reading about 2 books at once. And I just hear, if I'm going to do this thing, I got to keep learning. I have to learn the industry. I need to learn about people. I need to know how people react. I want to know the tips of the trade. And I just kept reading and reading and reading. And I'm going to continue that because you're not going to see the fruit next month when your book's over, but you will see the fruit as you put a couple books on top of each other. And so I agree with his statement. He says it's never too late to begin making changes in our lives. A lot of you like listening to audiobooks. Fantastic. There's so many podcasts out there. Fantastic. As long as you're doing something to feed your mind and to learn and grow. He says a common characteristic with successful associates who remain focused and committed to their networking business is that they're never satisfied with what they already know. Isn't that good? Think of anybody in a different business. Think of anyone who's created a product and started a company. To create that product, they had to learn all about it, right? They had to learn what's the mechanics, what's it going to solve, how's it going to work. They had to learn and learn and learn and learn and learn. I mean, think of Thomas Edison with his light bulb. He just never gave up. He just kept learning when it didn't work. He kept learning when it didn't work. He kept learning until one day that dang light turned on, right? And I mean, look at all of us now. So keep learning it. He says, if you really have a passion to be successful, then your passion will drive you to learn all that you need to know. Growing as a person takes time and a lot of effort. It's true. It's true. Want to hear a funny? Anyone here watch Suits? I'm only on season 1, episode 6. I just finished. Because when everyone else was watching Suits, I was reading books. Now I'm trying to read books and watch Suits. Okay? It takes time. It does. It takes time. I get it. Sometimes you're just like bagged. You're exhausted from the day. You just want to like veg out. I get it. But in those moments, right, is where we have to decide, I'm going to put the time into learning and growing so that 10, 15 years from now, I'm really going to be reaping that harvest, or I'm going to watch Suits. I mean, watch Suits, self-care, have fun, right? You guys know what I'm saying, but there's that time, that place. So here's a really neat story about Theodore Roosevelt. Okay, on January 6, 1919, that's the year that our grandma was born. She's 101 this year. Former President Theodore Roosevelt died at home in his sleep. Okay, anybody read the book and see what they found under his pillow? So cute. It says Theodore Roosevelt, whose list of accomplishments is remarkable, was still striving to learn and improve himself. Up until the very end, they found a book under his pillow. How adorable is that? I mean, really, you guys. You think when you're the president of the United States and you have all the accolations and all of that, I don't know, do you really need to read another book to learn how to do it? Most people will be like, oh, I made it. And he's still reading and learning at his ripe old age. I thought it was so sweet. Most people want their lives to keep improving, yet they value peace and stability. At the same time, people often forget that you can't improve and stay the same. Growth means change. Change requires challenging the status quo. And if you want greater possibilities, you can't settle for what you have now. So there really is only 2 choices. You either stay the same or you take a step. But staying the same is not going to bring you different results. So in 2019, if what you were doing in your business or in your personal life wasn't working to get you to where you want to be, guess what? You got to do something different in 2020. Truly. Right? Sometimes we play it safe for too long. Girls, it's 2020. It's time to stop playing it safe. Like, I'm just going to give you some real good loving right now. It's time to stop playing it safe. It's time to stop worrying about what's that person going to think of me. Who cares? Right? You're the sum of the 5 you spend the most time with. You've got far more than 5 people right here, and all these people are on the same track and trajectory as you. If someone else has their feathers ruffled, don't worry about it. You know why? It's because they can't handle that you're moving forward. You're no longer going to be standing beside them. You're going to be creeping forward, and they're not willing to move with you. It's the only reason, right? So 2020, it's time to tip the toe outside the comfort zone. He says, if you want greater possibilities, right? You can't settle for what you have right now. How you feed your mind is every bit as critical to your success and happiness as you feed your body. So this is that personal growth. Mind food is your environment. It's all the people you spend time with. It's all the television shows you watch. Don't tell them I watch Suits. What we put in our mind determines our habits, attitudes, personality, and ultimately our level of success. Don't let negative forces enter your mind. Don't let small thinkers hold you back. Write that down right now. I will not let small thinkers hold me back. Okay, I will not let small thinkers hold me back. It's uncomfortable for people who can't see success. It's uncomfortable for them to hear you talk about succeeding. They'll find every reason why they think you can't do it, why they think network marketing is a scam. No way, sister. Don't let them hold you back. It might be time to find new friends, or Sometimes it's family, you got to be around them. Just don't talk about it with them. Don't tell everybody your dreams. If they're going to rain on your parade, don't talk about it with them. Talk about it with people who you trust that are going to blow wind in your sails until you get there, and let the other ones watch you. And then all of a sudden they're going to be like, oh, dang, right? Maybe I should have hopped on when she asked me, because now I'm even further behind and now it's even more comfortable, right? We all have the same opportunities. Okay, here's an action step. We've heard this one before. Read at least 10 pages a day. It can be of this book. It can be of any book. Listen to an audio. 10 pages a day, every day. Every day. You'll be amazed at how far you get. I bought a purse that my books fit in. It just means I have it all the time. If I'm getting immunotherapy, I have to wait 30 minutes after each noodle. After each needle. No noodles happening there. After each needle, guess what I do? I read. I sometimes make an Instagram post, but I read. And my 10 pages are done. I sit in the school pickup line. Guess what I do? I read. I might only get 3 or 4 or 5 pages done, but at least I've done half for the day, right? Do you see how a little bit adds up? Okay. Choose a book today after Zoom. It might be this one and you read ahead, or you might read this one with us on book study, and you might choose one other one. There's brilliant books out there. Okay, read 10 pages a day, every day. Don't go to bed without it. He says most people have no idea how their beliefs got into their head, right? So when we're thinking about mediocrity, success, do I want to do this? Can I do this? A lot of us don't know how that developed, because remember we read some of the other mindset books last year, right? And it taught us about how those thoughts create pathways and how it's just like deep trenches. A lot of us, it's not like we sit and like, oh, how did that one start? A lot of them are subconscious. 90% of your thought processes are subconscious. Okay, so a lot of people, he says, have no idea how they got there. Our thoughts are so ingrained that they become automatic. Our minds are set, and unless something rocks our boat, we see no need to examine our thoughts and our beliefs. Isn't that true? You don't really stop to pay attention unless the boats are rocking, right? Unless you're not reacting the way you want to, you're not getting to where you want to be, someone's hurting your feelings, you're getting angry quick, all the things, right? If things are good, things are smooth, no need to look at them. So he says, coach's success tip. The reality is, if we want to change our life, it starts with changing our thinking. That's not new to us, girls. We were created for success, but we get conditioned for failure. We're conditioned to just settle. We're conditioned to think that it's always someone else that grabs life's brass ring. Ain't that true? We're conditioned to be like, oh, they just got lucky. Oh yeah, that happened for them, but it'll never happen for us. How many times have you heard that one? Right? Oh, they just struck it rich. No, they didn't. They didn't just strike it rich. They were doing things that nobody was seeing when the rest of us were playing and sleeping. Okay, that brass ring is for you. That brass ring is for you. Okay, we can achieve, we can win, we can grab life's brass ring. That's another great affirmation. I will grab life's brass ring. You guys visual like I am? I'm totally picturing a bull with the ring in the nose, like holding on to it. So crazy. I don't even know what that has to do with anything. Here's his next coach's tip. You can make excuses or you can make money, but you can't make both. Ow! Okay, hands in the air if you love that quote, even if it hurts. You can make money or you can make excuses, but you can't make both, right? Little Saturday morning exercise. Okay. Anything of significance that we do in our life must be done twice. The first place is in your mind. If we can think it, we can. If we think we can't, we can't. Girls, only you know what you're thinking, truly, right? Nobody can know that for you. So if you're telling yourself every day, oh, I'm doing the IP, but I don't know that I'm ever going to get there. you're believing that you can't. You're going to get really frustrated. Your feet are going to feel like they're in a real mud bog. That if you're doing it and you keep telling yourself, I got this, I can do this, I'm going to figure this out, I am not quitting, you'll do it. You really will, truly will. Okay? When you really believe that something can be done, your mind goes to work to help you find a way to do it. Do you guys remember the tip we learned in the other book? Speak it out loud so your subconscious hears it, right? And then your mind will start going to work on figuring out, okay, how do I get there? So talk to yourselves, whisper to yourselves. We used to always tell kids, why are you talking to yourself? And actually, it's like they were born knowing. And what have we done? We tell them, stop it. Not terrible. I just think, oh gosh. All the things we learn. Okay. So to do this, we need self-esteem, we need a work ethic, we need a good mindset, we need to be surrounded by others who are headed in your direction. Okay. He says, it's actually Jim Rohn that says this, don't join an easy crowd, go where the expectations and the demands to perform are high. What is it going to help you to be in a chat or in a group or at a coffee date with people that are okay to be like, yeah, I did it, but whatever, I don't know if I'll get to it tomorrow. What's that going to help you anything? Those in Road to Kona, raise your hand. Those of you that spent the time to apply in Road to Kona, one of the biggest things we're hearing is the difference is everybody in there wants to succeed. That changes everything. Surround yourself with people who are motivated and want to do the thing. It'll keep you accountable. The demand to perform is high because you don't want to let someone else down. But when the demand to perform is high, it's not like you're just being a slave to someone else's thing. You're also growing your business, because if you're doing your daily work, your business cannot help but grow. It will. You watch yourself, girls. 60 to 90 days, you watch those rank up posts coming. Right? When we reap that harvest, will that not be a celebration? And then guess we're going to celebrate together at convention. It's going to be fun. Okay, so who do you run with? Relationships in our lives really do make or break us. There's ways to determine if a relationship is positive or negative. Okay, 2020 might mean that you got to shift where you spend your time a little bit. And it might take coming out of your comfort zone a little bit. Right? You don't have to do any shifting rudely. You can still do this with love, grace, and integrity. But you always get to determine, right, where you put your time, right? Which chats you're in, which Facebook groups you spend your time in. Ours are actually all good. I don't even know why I'm using that example, but you know, which coffee groups you're in, which women you meet for lunch, right? Things like that. Which coworkers you're around. So he says, the first is to ask if a person makes you feel good or worse about yourself. How do you feel when you are around that person? Do you feel better? Or do you leave feeling inadequate, like you're not good enough, like you don't have what it takes, like you're not as happy as them, or that maybe people don't like you as much, right? Or do you leave feeling inspired, happy, joyful, looking forward to the future, proud of yourself, right? Happy with who you are, where you're going. Okay, it makes a big difference. He says the second is to evaluate how much energy the relationship requires. Do you feel drained after it? Are you always the giver? Or do you feel lifted up with your bucket full? Because remember, a healthy relationship, both people are giving. It's not a give and one's just taking and sucking, right? Is there an equal balance of sometimes she calls me for coffee, sometimes I call her, right? Sometimes I offer her a tip. The next week she's helping me because I'm crying in the closet, eating chocolate, right? Is it a give and a take? Or is it a take where they're sucking you dry? Or maybe you're in the position where you're sucking someone else dry. I mean, let's just be totally honest. We've all had that sometimes, right? Where we know there's a person that'll just listen to us whine all the day long, and we're actually sucking the life out of them. Okay, so this goes both ways. He says a negative relationship cannot influence you in a positive direction. Your future is too important to risk associating with negative people who are living failures. That sounds so harsh, however. Are you going to spend all your precious, valuable time, which you don't have a lot of, surrounding yourself with people who don't even have a get up to do anything more? Are they just happy to just do the bare minimum? Love them well, but don't put your precious time too much in their jar, right? Like that. Your relationships will define you, so choose your friends wisely. And he says he can really determine who someone is by this statement. He says, show me who you run with, and I'll show you who you are and who you're going to be. When I started Plexus, someone said that to me that was in my church. She said the same line, but a little different, and I remember being like, oh. She says, you are who you associate with. And I was like, well, no, not always. She says, yeah, you are. She says, you become who you associate with. You're known for who you associate with. And I just remember being like, whoa, what does that mean, what she's saying? But you know, when you read books, I can understand the value. You do get wrapped in who you spend your time with. It's true, right? It's true. You want to accomplish great things with your life, you must hang with people that have what you want, or at least you're pulling the rope the same way you're pulling. If you're running with positive, motivated people that see the glass as half full, it's much easier to think big thoughts. If you're hanging with negative, dull, disillusioned, frustrated crybabies, you're swimming against the current. You're going to find it tough to break out. There's a saying, inmates don't like to see another prisoner escape. Right? It reminds them that they're still sitting in jail, doesn't it? Okay. Ruth is a perfect example of being somebody who is that positive, motivated friend to run with. She always sees the glass half full, and I can't tell you how many times in a chat when there's been something, Ruth always, her instinct is to instantly come out with a positive of whatever it is. So Ruth, you're awesome at that. So if you guys are associated with Ruth in any way, you are blessed. She's amazing like that. Be very careful who you run with, because it's a fact that you begin to think like the people you spend a lot of time with. Your income, oh, this one's hard, you guys, listen to this, okay? I remember reading this and like almost wanting to cry. Your income tends to equal the average of the incomes of your 5 best friends. So if your 5 best friends are Plexus sisters, right? Your income tends to equal the average of the 5 of your best friends, okay? Your personal growth, your health, your finances, your relationships, same thing. You're hanging out with people that are always sick and schlemming, or people that are always negative and whatever. Guess what? Your mindset's going to go there. Your physical body's going to go there. All the things are going to go there. Birds of a feather flock together. Pretty glad I have some gorgeous, positive birds in my flock, because it's a really big deal. People who tell you that it can't be done, almost always unsuccessful. True? Come on. Yeah, Saturday morning stretch. Boop. They tell you they can't do it, it's because they're not succeeding in something. You will never be criticized or put down by someone that's doing more than you. Holler and amen to that. Have you ever had someone succeeding in business or in any area of life come to you and be like, you can't do that? No, it's only the ones who aren't doing it, right? Yeah, always. Okay, use negative advice only as a challenge to show them that you can. That is the only thing that you're going to do with it. You got to get really good at cleaning house up there in the mind. If someone says something to you, you need to grab it and you need to dump it. We all got a little trash can up here. You need to dump it in the trash and then just let it be a reminder, oh yeah, watch me. That's a good one-line right there. You let someone tell you. I had someone tell me they were praying that my business would fall apart. You know what I said in my head? Oh yeah, watch me. Oh yeah, it was a family member. Don't worry guys, I'm not immune from it either. Yeah, watch me. Watch me. I love it when we go on trips together and I get to post all those pictures of all the plexus awesomeness, because that's always my watch me, right? You tell me I can't, now I'm really going to do it. Okay? That's the only thing it's good for. Don't let people pull you down. Okay? He says mentors are important. We all have people in our lives we look up to. Those are your mentors. Look for people who are succeeding in life and make sure that you schedule time to be in their presence. It might be someone in your local life. Have a once a month coffee. You don't have to be like, I want you to be my mentor. I'd like to have coffee so you can tell me how to do all the things. It doesn't have to be that, but just be in their presence. Okay? If they don't live far, schedule a phone call. Just ask them, what's working for you? How's it going? Right? Be in their life. Those are mentors. It doesn't matter what age they are. Sometimes they're older, often sometimes they're younger. But have it be people that are succeeding in something that you want to succeed in. Okay, I have a girl, she doesn't even know she's like a mentor to me, and she owns multiple businesses. Not network marketing, but she's extremely successful, and I never let her off my radar. Never, ever. So just soak it in. And it can be online people. You can follow people online that are super encouraging too. It's best if you can have conversations, but nothing says that you can't message them and watch if they answer. Right? I love when people say, like, what? You messaged them? Well, yeah, what's the worst that'll happen? They won't answer because their inbox is jacked full, right? What's the best? I've had some pretty cool people respond to me, right? They're still people. They're still people. Don't be afraid. Okay, always be positive, right? We're good at this. Always be positive. You can condition yourself to be positive. It's no different than going to the gym and conditioning your muscles. It's an attitude, and attitudes can be changed. If we didn't believe that, who here's a mom? How many moms are on here? All right. If we didn't believe that attitudes can be changed, we wouldn't tell our kids, change your attitude, right? We tell them to do it, but we don't always do it ourselves. And so if we didn't believe it can be done, we wouldn't be telling them. You must block out the negative influences around you. The more problems you face, the more positive you must be. Attitude can be your best friend or your worst enemy. Bad attitudes at times may be justified, but they still keep you from success, right? So there may be a time where life poops all over top of you and you're like, yeah, but like I have every right. I love when my one teenager says, well, yeah, but I have every right now to be upset. Yeah, okay, I get it, right? That wasn't a really fun situation. However, you get to control what you do with it from this second on, right? Because life ain't gonna quit throwing balls at you. And the more you succeed, you better put on some bigger armor, right? God will lead you to the promises of what he knows you can handle. So the more you can handle, those promises are going to keep getting bigger. Those blessings are going to keep getting bigger. But it ain't going to get any easier, because the bigger the blessing, the more balls that are going to be getting whacked your way. Because remember we talked about swimming up the current and how that small percentage swims upstream, right? That stream is packed with fish. So the further up you go, the more you're getting sidechecked all the way. Okay, don't let that stop you. Attitude is more important than ability to succeed. In other words, it's attitude, not aptitude. You don't need a degree to do network marketing. Woohoo! Saved ourselves a lot of money. All those people that go for degrees, such a small percentage even end up using them. They go into a totally different field anyways. We don't even need a network marketing degree. Okay, you just have to have a good attitude. He says things turn out best for the people who make the best of the way that things turn out. That's a good one to write down. Things turn out best for the people who make the best of the way things turn out. Girls, here's one thing that I want you to walk away with today from this. There's one thing that determines success in network marketing. Okay, he says, without a positive attitude, you're destined to fail in networking. I say that with a huge dose of love. But have you ever seen anyone on stage at any of our Plexus Corp events that comes up there with a bad attitude or like this? Have you ever? All the stories that you hear, they're overcomers, they're positive, they're like, you know what, I went through hard times, it wasn't easy. Remember the story last year, right? That girl, she'd been the same rank for 4 years. Heck, I've been the same rank for 4 years, right? Doesn't mean I'm not going to succeed. Shoot, no. It's a timing thing, right? It's coming because I ain't leaving, right? It can't not come if I don't leave. If you leave, you're done. But what then? You start back where you started. Oh, great, right? If you don't leave, the only thing that can happen is that it can get better. So I love that he says that. He says being positive is a daily discipline. Simply refuse to think about unpleasant things, events, or situations. Just flat out refuse. That will not, when you say today, okay, that's it, not thinking negative anymore, you will be confronted with a few negative thoughts today, I promise, right? Just be like, oh yeah, that's nice, kick it to the can, don't dwell on it, don't keep letting it run around. You have to replace it with something, let it just go. It's going to rebound. When it rebounds, again, nope, yeah, I don't believe that. Okay, it's going to rebound a few times until, you know, when the ball rebounds off the wall and then it bounces away and the bounce gets lighter and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller till it just rolls away. Same idea with thoughts. Okay, so the more you do that, that ball's going to have less power and it's just going to go slower and slower and it's just going to roll away and be like, oh, yeah, her mind clearly isn't the place for me. Okay, so it does take some practice, but you can totally do it. It's like exercising. It burns so bad the first few times, and as you get used to it, but it's just something we got to do. Positive attitude and a negative attitude are just two different ways of looking at the same situation. Okay, same situation. All right, we got one more thing we're going to cover here. You guys still with me? Okay, winners. What defines a winner? Okay, winners live and breathe success. Those of you that have the book on page 41, there's actually a whole list here of winners versus losers. Okay, it's in a gray box. Winners live and breathe success. Winners don't let pessimism dictate. Winners don't believe in giving in to negative forces. Winners simply have a different attitude. A winning attitude is a personal decision to believe you can accomplish great and mighty things in your life. There's a few things in life, if any, that will pay bigger dividends than a winning attitude. Says Dennis Waitley, The Psychology of Winning, says, the winners in life think constantly in terms of I can, I will, I am. 3 things to write down. You guys fill in the blanks. I can, I will, I am. Losers, on the other hand, concentrate their waking thoughts on what they should have done or what they didn't do. All right, so listen to what's going on up there today after we get off Zoom for this weekend. Okay, are you hearing I can, I will, and I am? Or are you hearing, dang, I should have, I could have, I didn't do that, now I'm behind? Right, what's the point of doing IPA because I missed all of last week? No. I am an overcomer and I will get consistent, right? And I am going to rank up because I can do it. So there's a list there. Some of you have the book. If you each want to type 1 or 2 to share with those that don't have. Okay, so here's the commitment part. We each have 24 hours a day. That's 8,760 hours a year. Winners understand commitment. If you don't change your thinking and make a commitment, no amount of how-tos are going to help. One of the biggest things, specifically as we've turned into the new year, that I'm beginning to hear again across all Plexus teams. And a lot from within ours, of course, within Rock and Wellness, because we hear each other the most, is, okay, I just need a how-to. Just tell me what to do in what order. I just need a how-to. Can I tell you girls something? All those how-tos are in all our groups. Here's the thing though. There's lots of different ways to follow up. There's lots of different ways, right, to do IPA. There's different sheets. Here's what needs to happen though. When you make the commitment, okay, I'm going to do this, because this is your business and we all have different personalities, you're going to go into the group and you're going to type in the search bar, follow up. And the posts are going to come up with different ways to follow up. But here's where the responsibility lies and where you're going to find success. You're going to choose the format that you're like, hey, that works for me. I can do that. But then you have to take it and apply it, right? Same with IPA. Hey, there's 4 different sheets here. I'm going to look at them. Which one, to me, it looks like, Kona girls, you have a sheet you're using right now, right? But there's so many different sheets. And it's just like, hey, Corp has a fantastic sheet, right? If you're lost for which one to use, it's just choosing, okay, so here's the IPA sheet I'm going to use. Here's the 4-week follow-up that I'm going to use. But essentially, it's like this. You have a potential. You start a group chat with your upline. You get them signed up after conversation. They're either a customer or ambassador. Okay, next step is you introduce them in the team page. Don't miss it. Preferred customers, ambassadors, always introduce them. I don't care if they say, I don't want to be in any groups. They just don't know what they don't know. Everybody likes feeling welcome. If they after want to remove themselves, they have the freedom. But don't hold them back from what they don't even know what they're missing. Okay, they're number 3. Keep in touch. And what I do is I write them in my calendar. Week 1 after they order, week 2 after they order, week 3, week 4. And I make sure week 4 is a couple days before their subscription, so it's a little shorter. And I follow up the way Emily does. Their name pops up. I say, okay, how's it going today? Right? What are you noticing? But those are things that take commitment. You just have to do it. There's no fancy system. There's no how-to. The how-to is just as basic as that. If they're in the team page and they're in a group chat with your sponsor, you're doing the right thing. You're doing it. Totally doing it. Okay, so that is that, girls. So that took us to the end of chapter 2. Chapter 3, we're going to start next week with getting out of your comfort zone and talking about your dreams. So chapter 3 and 4, and I want you to at least read to the end of chapter 5. Okay? Read ahead would be a great idea because hearing it for a second time is super impactful to your mind. But for sure, read through, heck, if you're reading 10 pages a day, you should be like at chapter 10 somewhere, right? If this is your book you're doing that with. But go ahead and read for sure to the end of chapter 5. We're going to be talking about comfort zone, dreams, and goals. Okay, we're going to carry on. So today was mindset and attitude. A few thoughts as we close out. Feel free to unmute yourselves.
I really just want to, the part that you talked about with kind of breaking free from people that bring you down and surrounding yourself with people that build you up has been really, really, really big for me, for my mindset, just in life in general. It's just a really important thing. I was kind of stuck for a while with some people that I thought I should be around, and they were actually not the right people to be around at all. And it's so freeing to not be around that. Actually, it's just such a life shift being around people that speak life into me and are encouraging. It has been a huge game changer for everything for me. So, and I know that can be hard because sometimes that is family. I've had a situation with a family member that, like Heidi said, just don't talk to them about your business. And sometimes that's just the way it has to be. You have to be somewhat, I guess, careful and cautious in that regard, because sometimes I think those can be tools of people those people can be tools to tear you down and to get you off track and to help you lose your focus. So anyway, it's just an encouraging tip there. That's been a game changer for me.
I love it. Anyone else?
I did the same, Amy. I know you commented on my Facebook post where I talked about that, and until I left, it was a secret group on Facebook, and it was just a collection of people who had gone through the same childhood that I went through. And I just, sitting in Super Saturday, was realizing that is serving me no purpose. Like, yes, we say that it's so that we can have a community that understands each other, and we can be like, how crazy was this? And do you remember? I'm like, that is not helping me move forward at all. And it seems unrelated to business, but it's one of those things where it's not a positive tone overall. It's a like, can you believe how crazy that was? So yeah, I just left the group. I didn't tell them I was leaving. I just left. And just not having any of those notifications pop up during the day has made a difference in my mental like clarity, you know, that more positive space up there. So yeah, for sure.
That's so true, Ruth. I left a group. I was in an anxiety support group because I thought for what I've been through, I can help other women, right? Pull them out of the same and just, you know, help them know that there's hope in that. And I finally just had to leave because I was like, they actually, 90% of them, they don't actually, like, I think everyone wants to get better. They said they did, but it was such a negative, and it was just like, it was awful. And I was like, there's no health here. There's no emotional uplifting here. They're all just pulling each other down. And I got to the point where I'm like, I am worried for these women in this group. And the admin, I commented a few like just nice things about an ebook that had really helped me. And she told me that this was not the time or the place. And I'm like, well, is this a support group to help them? Or is this just to like wallow in our sorrows? And I left. Same like you. I'm like, I hope someone reaches out to them, but it's not going to be me because I can't listen to that all day long. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, girls, well, we're over our hour, so we are going to meet again next Saturday at 9:30. So if you feel like this book was something that someone else would enjoy, you know, that maybe could make it on today, certainly invite them. And yeah, anyone from Team Awesome on here today, welcome to you too, as you're joining us for this. But anyways, okay, have a great Saturday, and we will see you all soon.
Thank you, Heidi.
You're welcome.